Hi, I'm Tom Lydon with ETF Trends here in Washington, D.C. at the Charles Schwab Institutional Conference. And I'm here with Jon Maier, Chief Investment Officer at Global X. Great seeing you, John.
Great seeing you, Tom. How you doing?
Good, good. Another great conference here. But advisors are a little bit on edge with the recent volatility in the marketplace. As we're closing out 2018, what are some things advisors need to be thinking about?
Obviously, there's a lot of volatility in the market. You hear about tariffs and the recent midterm elections, the Fed, but I think you can't take your eye off the ball, and the ball is long-term investing. We all have goals. We want to buy a house, we want to retire one day, we have education for our children, so you have to think about diversification and your investor's time horizon and overall goals.
Yeah, well, you bring up one point, China, okay, tariffs. There's a lot of saber rattling that's going on,
Sure.
right? And we know that the Trump administration is kind of cranking up the pressure a little bit, hoping that Xi and China will cave. What's your prospect for going into 2019 as far as, are we going to continue to see pressure, or what if they were actually to work out some type of deal? Would that really cause some relief for the marketplace?
You know, I'm a free trade guy.
Yeah.
Tariffs, are definitely rattling the market. If you really think about it, about tariffs, tariffs by definition are inflationary. So there's going to be an impact on the market. And what's happening right now, we're seeing in earnings reports that companies are talking about their supply chains. Do they have to find some of the raw materials in other places? And if that's the case, can they pass on those costs through their goods? If they can't, sales may go down, prices may go up, and ultimately earnings of companies may go down. Will that rattle the market? It's going to rattle the markets.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, I was just seeing recently, China has not ordered any planes from Boeing, and they were supposed to. Boeing stock has just been huge the last 5 years. Obviously, that might affect the stock itself. So, is it going to be kind of the that effect where one hits the other, hits the other, hits the other, or at one point in time, could Trump jump in and cause some relief and say, all right, rather than keeping you over a barrel, we'll kind of meet somewhere in the middle, and then what would that do, especially to emerging markets?
We can hope that happens.
Yeah.
If orders are canceled, that affects earnings. Earnings affect stock prices if earnings go down, for sure.
Yeah.
Any relief will certainly help the market, and any relief in the talks between China and the U.S., if there's talks. There's not talks going on right now.
You folks have a great array of portfolios,
Yes.
especially in emerging markets. Valuations are the cheapest we've seen in a long time. Can you maybe talk to that?
Yeah, I mean, valuations are cheap, and China is a long-term play. It's down a huge amount this year, for sure. But China, while it is an emerging market, it's a very special emerging market. It's the second largest economy in the world. China is not going away. Will it go down another 5 or 10%? I have no idea.
Yeah.
But there is value there. There is absolutely value there. I also think there's a lot of value in income-oriented stocks. We're coming towards the end of the year. There's a lot of tax loss selling going on. We are seeing flows into some of our products like preferreds, PFFD, yielding it in the 5.5% range. So that's where we are seeing positive flows. And what's really interesting is that utilities is one of the 11 GIC sectors that's positive for the year. We have a fund called DIV. DIV yields about 6.5%, US based, has a lot of utilities in it. It's doing okay compared to the rest of the market.
Yeah. So your message is, don't sidestep the market, don't try to be out, be diversified, and there's nothing big that's concerning you going into 2019, as long as earnings stay consistent?
Well, there's always concerns. Tariffs are a concern of mine, how that's going to affect overall earnings going forward, how it affects sentiment. But again, I'm a positive person. I believe that ultimately this administration wants growth, and hopefully something will be worked out.
They won't get in the way of the market.
Exactly.
Excellent, John. Great seeing you.
Great seeing you, Tom.
Thanks.